Golf has effectively been partitioned with no thanks to the feud between the Saudi-sponsored series and the PGA Tour. And with the unending legal battles, the tide may not change anytime soon. But why is the PGA Tour losing the fight, and how does it affect the sport? Stick around to find out the details. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund seeded a new LIV golf circuit. When they hosted their first competition, Charles Schwartzel won the tournament, earning him $4.75 million on top of the guaranteed amount he received for signing up with the new circuit. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine we could play for that amount of money in golf, Schwartzel mentioned. You can tell that the South African was amazed. After all, he made more money in 3 days of the Saudi tournament than in the last 4 years of his golfing career. Last year's Masters Tournament champion took home $2.7 million, so intuitively you can see where this is headed. LIV is quite readable. There are fewer golfers in Saudi Arabia, but they get paid higher compensation from the government. There are 8 events on the LIV Tour each year, and the events include just 54 holes over 3 days. According to speculation, Saudi Arabia has been trying to use LIV to get the West and worldwide acceptance despite their record of human rights abuses. LIV and its Saudi backers now find themselves in a legal war that involves the Saudi Arabian government, 9/11 families, and many of the top names in golf. As you may recall, LIV Golf was founded 2 years ago and is backed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which is estimated to be worth more than $600 billion. LIV, with that money, snagged several top PGA Tour players, including Phil Mickelson, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Taylor Gooch, Ian Poulter, Cameron Smith, and a host of others. The Human Rights Challenge Saudis did this by offering these players quite a bit of money, a whole lot of money. Blood money? Well, maybe, but at least the players are getting a hefty paycheck. The former world number 1, Dustin Johnson, made around $74 million in PGA Tour prize money throughout his career after turning pro in 2007. And for a 4-year contract, LIV reportedly offered to pay him $125 million. The Big Phil was allegedly offered $200 million to jump to LIV, which is more than double what he made in total in his 30-year career. According to LIV Commissioner and Chief Executive Greg Norman, Tiger Woods rejected the mind-blowing massive offer to join the circuit in the mid-9 digits. At the same time, top players like Rory McIlroy and Jon Rahm have just committed to the PGA Tour. Now, of course, this new golf association is threatening the popularity and the fame of the PGA Tour. You see, they can afford to offer this cash, but based on its horrifying human rights record, which includes its medieval restrictions on girls and women, its repression of the LGBTQ+ community, its ties to the terror group responsible for the 9/11 attack, Al-Qaeda, and according to the CIA, the killing of Jamal Khashoggi on the orders of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, much of the golf world doesn't trust its sponsors, the Public Investment Fund. Last year, LIV Golf held 7 events, 2 of them at Trump properties. One was at Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster, New Jersey, where Donald Trump himself was spotted with Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the other was the team championship at Trump National Doral in Florida. Trump would later post on his Truth Social account urging golfers to take the money and not stay loyal to the PGA Tour. Those golfers still loyal to the very disloyal PGA will pay the price when the inevitable merger with LIV Golf comes, and all you'll get is a big thank you from tour officials who are earning millions of dollars a year. Trump continued, "You'll get nothing after the merger takes place if you don't take the money now. Then you'll realize how smart the original signees were." The PGA would later respond by placing restrictions on players who switched allegiance. And here's where the legal troubles started. Last August, 11 players from the Rebel League sued the PGA, challenging those restrictions. LIV then joined that lawsuit, arguing antitrust violations, asserting that the PGA essentially had a golf monopoly. Then the PGA countersued, saying that LIV had tortuously interfered with its contract with golfers. The hearing of this case comes up in January next year, but that gets us to where we are right now. Investors with LIV are arguing to the judge that they should not have to cooperate with the rules of discovery. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and its Public Investment Fund, PIF, are claiming they should not have to play a role in this and are not directly involved in LIV's day-to-day operations. However, the PGA says that the claim is totally false. The PGA Tour claims that the Saudis want to use the American justice system to fight the PGA without abiding by the American justice system's rules of discovery. We should note another recent development dealing with the PR firm that the tour hired to deal with this affirmance called Clout. Clout also represents a group of 9/11 families. And now LIV is trying to force Clout through a subpoena to turn over information about its relationship to those 9/11 family organizations. That's right, the Saudis are suing a PR firm that represents 9/11 families. Believe it or not, LIV is trying to determine whether the PGA is using connections to the 9/11 families to stage a protest against them. These families did protest against the Saudi-backed series at several tournaments last year, including at Trump's Bedminster Hotel. Those same families have, of course, been suing Saudi Arabia for years, accusing the kingdom of involvement in the 9/11 terrorist attacks, which the kingdom has hidden from the public. You see, the whole idea of sports washing is often talked about, and Bob Costas mentioned that many U.S. companies, including some who are sponsors of the PGA, have business relationships with Saudi Arabia and the United States, and sports leagues in the United States are deeply invested in China. But that doesn't change the fact that these individual golfers had a choice to make. It wasn't as if they'd be on a breadline if they stayed with the PGA. They had a choice. What they did is not by any means illegal by accepting money. Still, given the background of the feud, especially with LIV's ties with Saudi Arabia, many people find it quite unpleasant. And while it's on the USOC for putting 2 Olympics in Beijing, another in Sochi, and likewise it's on FIFA for putting a World Cup in Qatar, those athletes, if they're Olympians or soccer players, have no choice but to go. But golfers in this case had a choice. The PGA Tour's legal struggle against LIV Golf has worsened after it was unsuccessful in having an antitrust action against LIV Golf dismissed. The lawsuit filed by attorney Larry Klayman subpoenas Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Commissioner Jay Monahan, among others, to answer questions regarding their alleged anti-competitive activities. In a separate case, Klayman, who also represents LIV player Patrick Reed, claimed that the PGA circuit, the DP World Tour, Golf Channel, and the OWGR were working together to restrict LIV's spin-off tour. The bans issued to players who signed with LIV, he claims in a complaint, to have watered down the quality of the PGA Tour product. Klayman announced the ruling as a huge success for the breakaway in a statement posted on his Freedom Watch website. After filing a motion to dismiss the antitrust case, according to Klayman, the PGA Tour and Monahan took it on the chin for the first time. The discovery phase of this case is significant. The PGA Tour and its commissioner have never before been held accountable for damaging decisions that have negatively impacted the competition. He continued, "You can say that everyone can now see and hear the truth, which is why this ruling is great news for golf lovers everywhere. The defendants and their captive fake news outlets in the golf media, such as NBC's Golf Channel, have slandered and lied about the players of LIV Golf and, by extension, the PGA Tour. Allow justice to resound. With LIV now available, the PGA has been forced to take defensive measures. The next several decades will be crucial for professional golf. First, the PGA can support players like world number 1 Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, and Tiger Woods, who rejected LIV's approaches. And these golfers can be very beneficial to the PGA Tour. The PGA has to battle the Rebel League by prioritizing its stars, which is unfair to other lower-ranked golfers on the tour. To win a series against the PGA, LIV would have to sign every single star in the game, which would need the PGA to make every single mistake possible. All golfers have the same goal, to take on the world's finest and come out on top. In the absence of a defined venue for competing against the best, many players will choose to accept cash instead. If that doesn't happen, then the league will have to reduce the number of players or come up with other creative solutions to keep their great players and fan base happy, and the superstars will earn more money. In contrast, LIV will continue to attract a growing number of the world's best players. At some point, a superstar under the age of 30 will break through the PGA's age barrier, and some rebels may return to the PGA Tour, or this will never end. But what do you think about the ongoing legal tussle between both tours? Do you see an end in sight? We'll catch you in the next one.